have arrived at the popular Autodromo José Carlos Pache circuit in Interlagos, Sao Paulo for the running of the Brazilian Grand Prix, the final race of the season, where both championships will be decided this week. Coming into this week, the final 6 seats have been announced for 2018. However, rather than doing what I usually do, we are going to do things a little differently. We will start off by announcing 3 drivers to begin with, then go through the confirmed test drivers, the 2018 GP2 drivers, and the championship criteria for both Mercedes drivers, and then we will confirm the remaining 3 seats to round off the episode. So without further ado, let's get cracking. We'll start off with the Oxfordshire-based Williams team, as they have announced that current GP2 driver and current Mercedes test driver Lean Campana will be making his top class debut with the team in 2018. Lean has had a decent season in 2017, despite a few rough patches along the way. He finds himself 7th in the GP2 Championship, 3 points back from Italian Andrea Verderi, and his team Campos Racing lie 4th in the Teams Championship, 3 points ahead of Carlin. His highest point this season came at the Nürburgring, where he took his 2nd GP2 career win, his first win since Monza 2015 when he was at Rapax. Lean will be the first American to compete in the top class since William Duncan back in 2013 when he was driving for Toro Rosso. Let's hope Please Lean doesn't end up the same way as Duncanado. Lean will be overjoyed to be in the top class for 2018, and he'll be looking to have a great rookie year with a team like Williams. He'll partner alongside Felix Sontag, who was confirmed to be returning to the team back at the Japanese Grand Prix. There may be some people who may feel a bit confused, as for a couple of weeks it was speculated that someone else other than Lean and Thomas would end up being Felix Sontag's teammate. That person in question being Andrea Verderi, due to the fact that he is ahead of Lean by 3 points in the GP2 Championship. However, it is speculated that Lean's role as Mercedes test driver, combined with the fact that he is only 3 points behind Andre, may have been a factor in Lean getting the drive at Williams. The second team we will announce is Silverstone-based Force India team. They have announced that current Renault driver and 2015 GP2 champion Taravi Nautaranon will be joining the team in 2018. Taravi has had a more encouraging season than 2016, despite a few reliability problems along the way. He currently lies 16th in the Drivers' Championship, tied on the same number of points as Haas's George Roque, and his current team Renault find themselves 7th in the Constructors, 2 points back from their rivals Toro Rosso. Taravi's highest point this season came at Shanghai, where he got his best ever finish in the top class with 4th place, getting redemption after a disastrous rookie year in 2016. Taravi will be looking to have an amazing year in 2018 and hope that he will have less reliability problems than what he has had this season. He'll partner alongside Roland Motrin, who was announced to be returning to the team back at the Italian Grand Prix. His announcement also means that both Franco Lopez and Rick Yan will be leaving the team at the end of the season, with both of them fighting for top seats. Whether they have got a driver at a top team, you'll have to find out later on in the episode. For now, let's move on to the third announcement, which comes from French manufacturer Renault, which will be the first of 2 announcements in this episode. The second one will come later on. After much speculation, they have announced that Irish veteran Evan Byrne will remain with the team for another season. Evan has had an up and down season in 2017, mainly due to a lot of bad luck he has had in the second half of the season. He currently lies 11th in the Drivers' Championship, 3 points ahead of nearest rival Michael Macho, and as we have mentioned earlier with his current teammate Taravi Nautaranon, his team Renault find themselves 7th in the Constructors, 2 points back from Toro Rosso. Evan will feel relieved to still be in the top class next season, as at one point he was the favourite to take the second McLaren seat alongside his former Sauber teammate Roberto Gamba. However, as we established last week, McLaren signed 2017 DTM runner-up Kirishima DeRosa in a shocking move. Evan will be looking to have a better year in 2018 and hope to rectify the bad luck he has had this season. At least this time he has stayed at his current team for next season, even if it wasn't the way he wanted to get retained. Who knows, he might try and get a seat with another team for 2019, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We will come back to the rest of the announcements later on in the episode, but first, let's go through a few things, starting off with the 2018 test drivers who have been confirmed so far. Mercedes will have Nguyen Huang Min, who will be known next season as Hoang Min Nguyen due to the way first names and last weeks work in the Far East Asian part of the world. Ferrari will have Thanos Fujiukas, Toro Rosso will have former Renault driver David Greenwood, Haas will have current Ferrari test driver Roman Quark, and Sauber will yet again have Balint Zolga. 6 teams are still yet to announce their test drives for 2018, which are Red Bull, Force India, Williams, Renault, McLaren and Manor. So for anyone watching who hasn't been offered yet, keep an eye out in your DMs on Twitter or Discord, as you may be offered later tonight with an offer to be a test driver for either one of the 6 teams available. Meanwhile, in other news, the lineups for GP2 next season has also been confirmed. And just like last season, here is GP2 commentator Robert Ionescu to go through the teams and drivers for the 2018 GP2 season.
4 GP2 drivers will be making a step up to the top tier. These are the championship contenders Maxim Titkov, Enis Parachki and Laura Chang, and as you just heard, Campos driver Leon Campana will be making the move to Williams. We need to find out who remains in GP2 and who's gonna join it next season. Well, we're finding out now. Starting with Dams, the French team will be hiring Pamin Nguyen and David Suarez, the Vietnamese and the Brazilian drivers. Up next is Russian time. They'll be retaining Balin Zolga, and he'll be joined by the Polish driver Daniel Adventure, moving from Trident. Our Grand Prix is retaining Jared Fosbury, and he'll be joined by Racing Engineering driver Thomas Anderson, because Racing Engineering is disappearing. Campos has a whole new lineup, Nicolas Zorbach returning after half a season in top class, replacing the late Nicolas Pascali, and he's joined at the Campos team by Formula E graduate Christoph Beranek. He'll be the first rookie on this list. The Carlit team are hiring Alessandro Tomaselli and Isaac Fashore, and up next Trident, they'll be retaining the services of Chris Chatfield, and he'll be joined by Welsh driver Thomas Bennett, and midway through the season rookie in this GP2 season. MP Motorsport have a whole new lineup as well, consisting of Formula E graduate, the German Dennis Graf, and he's joined by former Formula E champion and BTCC graduate Jake Galloway, formerly known as Sepp Brixholt. BWT Arden will be having Henry Watzel and Formula E graduate Kyle Burns there for the team next season. Laguna Seca race winner Benz Wallinger will be remaining at Prema next season, and he'll be joined by GP2 rookie and DTM graduate Aaron Curtis. The Rapax team will be retaining the services of David Kupok and Max Killen, the only team so far to keep the same lineup. And finally, Charouz is replacing Racing Engineering. Charouz's drivers for next season are going to be Andrea Federi and Chuck McCarthy. Those are the GP2 lineups for next season. We can't wait to see them in action.
Thanks to Rob yet again for helping me out with the announcement for GP2, and be sure to watch GP2 today and tomorrow, as both their championships for the third season in a row has gone down to the final race. It's sure looking like it will be one titanic decider. Speaking of championship deciders, here is the criteria that both Will Neller and Jay McKenzie need in order to win the 2017 title this week. Jay will need a lot of luck on his side on Wednesday, as he is 23 points back from his teammate Will Neller. Not only will the pair be fighting for the Drivers' Championship, but they'll also be hoping to hold off Ferrari, who still have a chance to take the Constructors' title off the Silver Arrow should anything happen to both Neller and McKenzie. So who will become the 2017 World Champion? Will Jay McKenzie perform a Tolavi Terenon style underdog performance and become the second driver in GP4 OC history to become a 3-time world champion, or will Will Neller in his final race in the top class finally break his duck after years of trying and win his first and only world title in the OC and make the United Kingdom the first nation to crown 2 world champions in the top class? Tune in on Wednesday to find out who will walk away from Interlagos as the world champion. Now with all that admin out of the way, let's get on with announcing the final 3 drivers. And seeing as we are talking about Mercedes, let's start off with them, as for the last few weeks there was a lot of speculation on who would take the second Mercedes seat alongside 4-time world champion Florian Volker, who will be moving to the Silver Arrow for next season. Well, after weeks of speculation with it going back and forth, the German manufacturer has announced that the man who will partner alongside Florian Volker next season will be current Force India driver Franco Lopez. Franco has had an amazing season in 2017, despite a few bumps in the second half of the season. He currently lies 8th in the Drivers' Championship, 1 point ahead of his current teammate Rick Yan and 13 points behind Julius Anderson, and his current team Force India find themselves 4th in the Constructors, 2 points ahead of their nearest rivals Williams. After a few bumps during the second half of the season, people thought, just like at the beginning of the silly season, that Franco had been screwed out of a Mercedes drive for 2018. However, he has proven a lot of people wrong, including Kayfabe OC News. By the way, who the hell are you? Just curious. And he'll be over the moon to be a Mercedes driver for 2018. Franco will be looking to have an amazing year in 2018 and hope to compete for his first world title, along with getting his first ever top class win, providing he doesn't have a miracle this week in Brazil. But as the famous Murray Walker once said, anything could happen in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. By the way, did anyone know that me and Murray share the same birthday? Just thought I'd mention that. As a result of this news, it means that Jay McKenzie, after 5 seasons, will be leaving the team that got him his 2 world titles at the end of the season. However, luckily for him, another team has come to his rescue, and he has been able to secure a drive for 2018. That team, as you may have guessed, is French manufacturer Renault. Jay has had an up and down season in 2017, with the first half of the season being a low point for the Polish Canadian. He currently lies second in the Drivers' Championship, where he still has a mathematical shot of leaving Mercedes as a 3-time world champion, and his current team Mercedes lead the Constructors by 34 points ahead of Ferrari. This may feel like a downgrade for Jay given his success over the last few seasons. However, providing he stays at the team for the long term, it could prove to be a brilliant move for him in the future, given the 2021 regulations will see the series use fantasy car performances, which Renault could benefit from and see them challenging for championships and wins in the near future. However, if he doesn't want to be in it for the long term, then he can try to get the maximum out of the Renault next season and hope to fight his way back into a competitive car for 2019. Jay will be returning to Renault for the first time since 2012 when the Enstone-based team was known as Lotus. He will partner alongside Evan Byrne, who ironically was the man that Jay partnered with at Renault back in 2010. So essentially, Renault has reunited with its 2010 lineup. As for DTM champions Michael Moccio and Julius Anderson, it's bad news for them, as unfortunately for the pair of them, they have been left without a top class drive for 2018. The final team news of this year's silly season concerns Red Bull, as after much speculation, they have announced that current Force India driver Rick Yan will be joining the team in 2018. Rick has had a similar year to his current teammate Franco Lopez in that he has had an amazing season but has had a few bumps along the way. He currently lies 9th in the Drivers' Championship, 1 point behind his current teammate Franco Lopez, and as we have mentioned earlier, his current team Force India lie 4th in the Constructors, 2 points ahead of their nearest rivals and fellow Mercedes customers Williams. The highest point for Rick this season has to come at Sochi, where he finished 3rd, giving Force India their second podium finish of the season. Rick will be delighted and relieved that he will be racing at Red Bull next season, and he will be, like with Franco Lopez, looking to get his first win and hope to challenge for the championship. He will partner alongside Miklos Gau, who was announced back at the Italian Grand Prix to be remaining with the Austrian energy drinks company for the 7th successive season. As a result of this news, we now have a complete grid for 2018. So just to recap, here are the teams and drivers for 2018 in current Constructors' Championship order. Mercedes will have a new lineup consisting of 4-time world champion Florian Volker and up-and-coming Argentine Franco Lopez. Ferrari will retain 2-time world champion Joseph Willows, and he'll be joined by fellow Brit Amar Khan, a man who has had a lot of on-track battles with in the past. Red Bull will retain 2009 world champion Miklos Gau, and he'll be joined by Chinese driver Rick Yan. Force India will have a new lineup consisting of Hungarian Roland Motrin, who will be returning to the team for the first time since 2011, and 2015 GP2 champion Telavinau Terranon. Williams will also have a new lineup consisting of German veteran Felix Sontag, who will be returning to the team for the first time since 2006, and current Mercedes test driver Lin Campana. Toro Rosso will have 2 GP2 championship contenders in their lineup, which are Macedonia's Anis Parachki and China's Laura Chung, who will be the first legit female to compete in the top class. Renault will retain Evan Byrne, and he'll be joined by 2-time world champion Jay McKenzie, who will be returning to the team for the first time since 2012 when they were known as Lotus. Haas will retain George Roque, and he'll be joined by 2011 GP2 champion Franco Gamba. McLaren will retain Roberto Gamba, and he'll be joined by 2017 DTM runner-up and a returning Kirishima De Rosa. Sauber will retain Paolino Tomaselli, and he'll be joined by 2017 DTM champion and a returning Gabriel Gomez. And Manor will retain the services of Brit Etienne Jones, and he'll be joined by current Manor test driver and current GP2 championship leader Maxim Titkov. With these news out of the way, we now know that apart from Will Neller, who is retiring from the top class after this race, these 5 drivers will not be on the top class grid in 2018. These are Manor's Nicholas Zorbach, Haas's Joel Hutter, McLaren's Oliver Glazebrook, and the 2 biggest ones, which are Toro Rosso's Michael Moccio and Williams' Julius Anderson. These 5 drivers may end up as test drivers, however if they still want to compete in the GP4 OC in some capacity, they will have to apply for either DTM, Formula E or BTCC. However, they will need to be quick as those sign-ups will close at some point after the 2017 season draws to a close. And that is it, not just for this week, but also for Series 5 of the GP4 OC News. I'd like to take this time, if I may, to thank Yuri yet again for... Wait. What? Okay. Sorry guys about this, but, I'm being told in my ear that we're going to cross over to some breaking news. Thank you for that. I am now joined here by Rick Kian, who was just recently confirmed to be a Red Bull driver for 2018. However, he's requested this time with me because he's got something to share with you. So, Rick, over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Joe. Obviously, getting announced at Red Bull, a top team in the GP4 OC top class, is something I was aiming to go for since my very first season in the OC in 2011. And this would be my 6th season in the top class, which is already quite a lengthy career. And the thing is, although I would love to be part of an amazing team, there have been so many external circumstances for me in the past few months, which are related to my personal life, for me to announce that unfortunately I'll have to retire at the end of this current season. There, I know it was seen that I would be a great fit to the team, especially after the announcement that Franco Lopez is going to Mercedes. But it's just so much stuff has happened in the past few months that I just cannot continue this journey in the GP4 OC fraternity. And I know that it may come as a shock to a lot of people, especially the fact how invested I am in this community. But I have to take care of my personal life first, and unfortunately, it has come to this end. However, I want to thank the whole community for enriching my experience in terms of becoming a better person, becoming stronger, and in a way, getting to know so many people from all around the world. And it will be sad to see myself go from something that I've been so involved in for the past few years. But I just know that this is for the better of my own personal career, whereas I'm currently really working busy hours and I want to focus on my own life in person. And this means that I will obviously not be driving for Red Bull next season. And the person who will become the Red Bull driver for 2018 will probably come as a surprise. It is Joel Hutter. As some of you may know, I'm part of the sign-up process in terms of deciding who gets allocated what seat for the following season. And the way it happened was because I dropped out of the contention for the Red Bull seat around the Singaporean Grand Prix. This is when I announced my retirement to the hosts. That meant that in case Franco Lopez, who put Red Bull as his second backup choice, if he were not to get the Merc seat, he would automatically become a Red Bull driver. But because he got announced, the only other person who put it as a backup who was eligible was Joel Hutter, which as a result meant that he became the only person eligible to compete for the seat after my retirement and Franco becoming announced at the Merc seat. That means that Joel failed to get his first and second choice, but managed to get his third backup, which was probably not something he himself expected. And in a way, this has probably got to be one of the luckiest ways to get to one of the best seats in the top class.
It probably is indeed. I should also explain as well that you're also leaving the sign-up process after this as well because of the job as well. So that's that really. So that's that then. That is the end of the GP4 OC news. No more swerves there in that. This is generally the end of the episode. I want to thank everyone for the support you've given throughout this series for the last few weeks really. And it has been a pleasure. I want to thank Yuri for giving me the opportunity to do this yet again. Thank you to Rick for allowing me to do it in this style, his retirement announcement. And and that is really it. The GP4 OC News will return midway next season where we'll have another 10 episodes to determine the 2019 driver lineup. Will this silly season be as crazy as this season's? Who knows? But until then, I've been Jada with one. He's been Rick, and all that I can say is, thank you, Rick.
times. We don't expect the best time to come